Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Darius Murray, and I'm the iRise2 Mentoring Program Coordinator at Florida Atlantic University's Center for Autism and Related Disabilities. I'm a nationally certified vocational rehabilitation counselor, and I have over 10 years of experience supporting individuals and families impacted by adversities and disability within the South Florida community. I have a strong affinity for helping youth develop meaningful relationships that can guide them as they reach their full potential. And a fun fact about me, 3D printing is my thing. So let's take a little overview of what we're going to learn today. Today, we'll be talking about peer mentoring relationships and natural supports within the classroom setting. Before we get into that, we'll talk about what is FAU CARD, the organization I work for. What is iRise2 Mentoring, the program I support? What is peer mentoring, and how does it impact individuals with autism and autism spectrum disorder? Peer mentoring as a natural resource and strategies for developing successful peer mentoring outcomes. So let's get into it. Who we are. Florida Atlantic University Center for Autism and Related Disabilities is a community-based program providing assistance and support to people with autism and related disabilities and their families and the professionals serving them in the community. FAU CARD was established by the Florida legislature and is funded through the Florida Department of Education, providing free services and support to eligible constituents throughout the 5 counties we serve. The 5 counties we serve include Indian River, St. Lucie, Martin County, Okeechobee County, and Palm Beach County. FAU CARD currently has offices in the Boca Raton area, the Boca Raton of Palm Beach County, Jupiter, Florida of Palm Beach County, and also Port St. Lucie County. We provide one big catchment area of dynamic services. Some of the services we offer are family and school consultations, training and workshops for families, professionals, and individuals, public education to not only our community, maybe our legislators, and anyone who's willing to learn and would like to learn more about autism and how it can impact individuals in our community. We provide referrals and resources for families and professionals. We provide support groups for adults with an ASD. We also provide many other things such as iRise2 mentoring. So what is iRise2 mentoring? Well, the goal of iRise2 mentoring is to provide the goal of the iRise2 mentoring program is to support youth diagnosed with autism as they reach their full potential for vocational and interpersonal skill development through interest-based mentoring. We do that by supporting individuals who are between the ages of 11 and 21 years old, pairing them with a trained adult mentor who can guide them through any of the obstacles or challenges they may be facing. Mentors and proteges signed up for a 1-year commitment to meet for 4 to 6 hours in their community, working on meaningful activities that can help that protege build the skills that they're going to need to thrive in tomorrow's community. So what does our iRise2 mentoring model look like? It's usually a one-on-one model, especially our community-based or e-mentoring model, where an individual is matched with one mentor and one protege. We train and background screen all of our mentors, certifying them that they're safe individuals who are looking to help someone reach their full potential for success and creating a safe and friendly environment. Mentors must be between the age of 21 years old or 65. We ask for a 1-year commitment from all of our mentors. That's a 1-year commitment of meeting with your protege, working with them on different projects, attending some monthly trainings, and gathering for group activities. We want our mentors to be able to engage our protege and make sure they establish meaningful social skills and build the goals, social skills for the goals that they have. Whether it be, I want to be able to read out a project in the middle of the class and work on, decreasing my anxiety about that. Or hey, I'm looking to start a new job and I'm not really sure how to fill out an application. Whatever those goals are, how do you have that conversation with the employer or with your peers? Our mentors are there to help and support. Also, our mentors receive ongoing clinical support and training. So that means every month a mentor gets to hang out or talk with me on the phone or on Zoom. And we talk about what's going on in that mentoring relationship, as well as how we can coach or the organization can better support the mentor, the family, or the match. So then we say, what is peer mentoring? Well, I rise to peer mentoring is defined as mentoring with individuals who are similar in age, with similar interests, skills, and a background, who would like to develop a meaningful relationship that will allow them to allow for reciprocal growth of both skills and their overall development. So our peer mentors are friends, they're role models, they're advocates, and they're collaborative resources. They're individuals that can be reached out or individuals that our proteges feel comfortable approaching. Our peer mentors are not social workers. They're not authoritarians. They're not tutors or therapists. They're friends. They're there to provide advice, coaching, and just kind of guide peer through the moment. The iRise 2 peer mentoring model consists of our Tinker Tank STEM programs and our Girls Who Code program, which is one of the first and only autism-based programs in the country. We the model consists of one-on-one, one-to-one matches or one-to-two ratio matches with one mentor and two proteges, developing a meaningful relationship that these individuals meet 1 hour a week for a course of 6 to 7 weeks, engaging in a meaningful curriculum toward that it's based on STEM and mindfulness or essentially computer science. Proteges in these programs are between the ages of 14 and 18 years old, and the mentors are between the ages of 16 and 30 years old. These programs are structured so that they build the social skills an individual will need to help solve problems in a team and get their needs met without disrupting the group or disrupting the outcome of the project. Let's take a look at the iRise 2 peer mentoring model. And the model exists because it provides not only the peer mentoring for the protege, but a one-on-one relationship for that peer and that protege, giving that protege access to supports that they may normally not be able to achieve. Access to supports that can be provided not only in the form of a peer, but also that peer encouraging or helping that protege reach an adult or somebody who can help them, who can guide them better. These proteges work with their peers to build their social skills, using the peers to access conversation, to access friends, as well as different events or things that are going on in their community. Now the proteges develop a support that looks just like them, and someone that they can go to without making a big deal about things, or someone they can go to privately and talk to. A peer mentor is an informal resource. So our proteges really enjoy the fact that they have a peer mentor, someone who looks like them, understands pop culture, as well as has the same interests that they do. And then when we do this, we help increase our proteges' social connectedness. These proteges feel supported. They feel like they have a network of friends. They feel like they have a network of allies. But not only that, our peer mentors are now empowered. Our peer mentors are taking on the role of a leader, and they're now doing things to help guide others who may not even be a protege or a friend. Hey, how can I help you with this? Are you new here? Those are the lines that we hear from our peer mentors as they continue to take on those roles and step out of their shell to become better supports for others. So when we look at peer mentors as natural support, we must consider that natural supports are those informal relationships that we can have with our family members, we can have with our neighbors, especially with our peers, our friends, our teachers, our coworkers, our coaches, and other mentors. When we go to work or when we go to class, there's always someone who's there to lend us a pencil or teach us how to use a copy machine. Those can be natural supports because they're there to help us achieve a goal, whether it's something small like making photocopies or even something big like I forgot my pencil for today's exam. That peer, that natural support could be that peer. It could be someone we could just calmly and gently ask a question or ask for support. And we would love to be able to help all schools embed more peer mentors as natural supports for individuals with disabilities in their schools. So those natural supports also are also active listeners. They help solve problems. They're coaching individuals. They're saying, hey, this is how I did. I learned how to do my timetables, or, how can I help you achieve this goal? I see we have this big project due. Is there anything I can help you with? I'm really good at organizing things. And then these peer mentors and these natural supports are now helping to provide. They're providing strong role models that can help individuals become independent problem solvers. They're giving them the resources they need so that they can solve all the problems on their own without having to reach out to adults or maybe even relying on someone else. They're taking an initiative. So what are some of the benefits of peer mentoring? For our mentors, it improves their social and reasoning skills. The mentors are thinking fast, they're learning, they're understanding, and they're becoming patient. It increases their feeling of connectionness to the school. Wow. I'm really connected because the high school I went to, I was a peer mentor, and the individual I mentored is now in college. Or I helped somebody graduate. I helped someone stay on their football team or whatever sport it is. I mattered. I didn't just go to school and not do anything. I actually decided to volunteer, and these peer mentors feel better connected. They're better connected not only with the administration, but their teachers, their guidance counselors. They know exactly what this individual is thinking, what's going on, where they may be heading in life. And then it makes it a perfect individual who you could say, this could be a great scholarship for you. So that peer mentor is now connected not only with their school, but in their community. It increases their self-esteem. Conflict resolution skills. How do we solve problems without having to rely on Mr. Murray to help us? How can we better understand what the goal is here, and how do we all get our needs met, or how do we all achieve the goal, making sure that we all feel like we're contributing in a safe way? Increasing their social capital. All of the peers become friends with their peer mentor. And then also that peer mentor now becomes an outlet or a resource for increasing that protege's social capital. But the peer mentors they become friends with other peer mentors, and then their social capital just continues to increase. Again, not only from their peers to their student body, the teachers, the administration, and then these peers are now having conversations with adults. They're projecting themselves. They're proud. They're standing with high self-esteem, and they're saying, hey, this is how we can better our community, or this is what we can do for others. Meanwhile, we see that our proteges are increasing their self-advocacy skills. They're able to step up and say, hey, this is what I need. This is how I work best. We see stronger academic participation. They're raising their hand. They're stepping up in class, and they're wanting to be the first at things. And we see increased connection to their peer and adult supports. They know who to access. They know who to talk to. They know where to go when they need help. That's really important, especially for someone like for some of our proteges who may not know. And sometimes they can completely avoid something just because they may have to ask for help. We see a decrease in anxiety and disruptive behaviors. Students or proteges really enjoy their time with their peer mentor, so they're going to behave. They want to make their mentors proud, but also they want to be able to keep that privilege of being able to be a part of that program. And then the anxiety is reduced because you have a peer who can also help model the skills needed, or even help model how we can deal with a situation, like having to present your paper before the whole class. Then we see the mutual attributes. Well, my peer mentor looks just like me. We have the same hair. We both wear glasses, so it's okay that we both, wear glasses. Man, he might be a real cool person. We both enjoy anime and manga. We, we both live in the same community. All these different things help that protege feel more comfortable. Again, reducing that anxiety and reducing the disruptive behavior, or the behaviors that may not be comparable to what is best for that peer mentor, or that peer or the peer mentor. We also see increased friendships, more social capital for our proteges, helping them to be connected to their student body and the teachers, as well as figuring out, hey, what is everybody doing this weekend? Where's the coolest new skate park? So what are some of the positive impacts of peer mentoring? Peer mentoring helps to foster an environment for learning and growth. It is very pivotal. It is very important that all youth have an adult or a peer that can help guide them and coach them, because we all have to learn how to reach out to natural resources or reach out to our friends or our neighbors for support. Every once in a while, we may need a water hose, or every once in a while, someone may need to borrow a lawnmower. And that's where a natural support comes in. Who do we go to for that? We go to the person that we can be comfortable with, or someone that we know we have a relationship with. We see the improved communication skills. That's probably the best part about it. Individuals are improving their communication skills. They're learning how to speak and advocate for themselves. They're learning about their ability to get their needs met without a disruptive behavior or without compromising the activity. We see an increase in self-awareness. Wow, individuals are now noticing, man, maybe I should stand up straight in class, just like my peer mentor does. Or, this could be a better way to present this problem or kind of handle this disagreement. And then individuals are growing. They're learning new things about themselves. Wow, I'm capable of doing this. I played basketball with my peer mentor, and I never knew I had a really good crossover until now. I never knew I was so coordinated. Again, improve behaviors in not only school, but at home too. And when those peer mentors the behaviors are improving at home, we see that the peers are being able to access the community more, access activities more, the ability to go out into their community and be a little bit more autonomous within their neighborhood. Peer mentors also provide a less stigmatizing and intrusive source of support. That peer mentor doesn't wear a white clinical coat, doesn't have a clipboard, and doesn't come with an ulterior motive and saying, this is what we're going to do. That peer mentor is just there to help. They look just like that peer. And they basically have the same abilities as that peer. And it's a good model for how we can get support and get the job done. The improved social capital is unremarkable. The improved friendship networks for all members. And peer mentor also reinforce the development of collaborative team building skills. How can we all work together to get something done? How can we all get across the ropes course as a team versus someone falling off? And how do we even get people to listen to us, other team members to listen to us and our ideas? Those peer mentors give their proteges the confidence to speak up, the confidence to say, hey, I played a part in this presentation too. I would like to talk and contribute more to the group. So when it's time to prepare a peer mentor and a protege with autism to meet their peer mentor, the best thing that you can do is recruit positive figures, recruit individuals who are going to be great mentors. And you'll know those students in your student body or within your community. You always want to provide an orientation or some type of presentation for the peer mentor, for the protege or the peer and their parents. Informing the parents can be the best thing you do because the parents can be your biggest ally. If the parents are on board and the parents understand the importance of the relationship, they can help. They can also help guide the relationship. They can help reinforce, hey, were you able to meet with that peer mentor? What did you guys talk about? Checking in from time to time, helping you as a teacher or a coordinator figure out how that match is going. We always ask that our peer mentors and our peers complete an interest survey so we can best track and best align them with the best possible protege rather than just any protege. Build that rapport with the parents. Again, they're going to be your biggest asset. So they're going to tell you some of the things that protege may not say, such as, oh, I really do enjoy swimming. And that protege may not actually know how to swim. So it's really important that peer mentors and the peer program coordinator and the parents develop a good relationship. And if possible, open that relationship up into the peer. So that way the parents can be a good asset to the peers, as well as you never know what type of resources the parent may be able to open up for that peer mentor who's helping out their child. Be very specific about the project, the support role of the peer mentor, their goal. They're not a tutor. They're not a therapist. They're not someone who's going to be an authority figure. They're not someone who specializes in handling behaviors. They're not a taxi cab service. My peer mentor is not here to drive me around from different appointments and hang out. They're not paid. They may not be paid. Um, these mentors it needs to be very clear for both mentors and mentees or the proteges, as well as their family, on the roles and expectations of what that peer mentor is going to be doing and how that relationship is going to play out. Behavior expectations are really important. If peers understand what the expectation of those behaviors are, then it won't look weird when the peer mentor is modeling those behaviors. It will actually only reinforce, hey, these are the things that we're supposed to do. And we know that many of our individuals on the spectrum or with disabilities are strong rule followers. So let's go ahead and complement that skill. Discuss information about group dynamics, who your peer mentor is, where they come from, what's their age, what's their favorite sport, what kind of food do they like to eat, what's their favorite video game. All those different topics and questions can be very helpful to reducing that anxiety around meeting that peer mentor, or maybe not even showing up for that meeting. So we also say provide takeaway information for the peer mentor, the mentee, as well as their family. You can discuss on that type of information the rules for the program. You can discuss the goals and the outcomes of the peer mentor relationship, the expectation, the roles of the peer mentor and the protege. All these things are really important because they'll also help to provide a tangible resource for what is expected for that protege, and how do they continue to be involved in this program positively. Training and support. When providing training and support to those peer mentors, we already know you've recruited some of the best peers in your school or in your community, or some of the best volunteers you may have. So how do you help them maintain those skills? It's providing them with appropriate training and support. So providing them with appropriate support about their peers' disability or just disabilities overall, providing them with a training or an orientation, outlining their responsibilities. What are your responsibilities? Well, you signed up for a whole year, so we would like to hang out with you for a whole year and you to hang out with your protege. You're responsible for connecting with them independently. You're responsible for making sure you keep up with your activities or reporting your peer mentoring hours to the coordinator, making sure that you are being held to your expectations. If you told your protege you're going to bring them a book that was going to help them with a project, make sure you bring that book the next time you meet with them. Making sure you outline the expectations of their role as a peer mentor. Again, they're not meant to drive people around. They're not a therapist. They're not there to take on the problems of their mentee or their mentee's family, or their protege's family. They're a friend. They're a trusted resource. They're an informal source. So they don't have to wear a hat of, I got to fix this. No, I know exactly the right teacher that can help us with this. It should be their answer. They're a resource that's connecting their protege with other resources. Highlight the benefits of being a peer mentor. Let them know that it's not only about what you can do for your mentee or your protege, but it's about what you can do for the organization and what you can do for yourself during this opportunity. It's about how you make somebody else feel and how you contribute towards your community. All the great things that you do as a peer mentor may take a little bit of time to bloom, but they'll blossom when they get done, when they get there. Provide the mentors with scripts or maybe even just examples of conversations, teaching them about some of the nuances, giving them instructions and social support skills that can help their protege better interact with others. In this process, we like to give them open-ended conversation starters, activities that can create an opportunity for conversation, things that can, really, really be a catalyst towards getting that social environment primed just for what that protege needs to thrive, and promote opportunities, for earning extracurricular certifications in leadership, uh, community service, or maybe even a book stipend for their first semester at college. If you're able to find funding for those type of things, it's okay. Peer mentors will love those opportunities. So when we look at when we look at training and support, we also want to look at how we express the importance of obtaining support when needed. We also want to look at how mentors problem solve, how they gauge what is a problem that we may need to get a professor or a professional or a teacher to help out with versus what is a problem that we can handle this on our own. Um, the way you can do that is by providing that mentor with opportunities to role play on those strategies, developing skills and a list of how to's or what to do now. It's kind of like getting trained for first aid. We know exactly what bandage to put on what wound, but we have to practice those skills. And putting that peer mentor into those opportunities is great. And that's why we provide the trainings. Sometimes those trainings can be an hour before they meet with their mentee or their protege, or they can be just on any day during the week that's designated for a training. It's always great to give them practice of those skills so that way when it comes time, that peer mentor really blossom and is a true asset to their mentee. And remember, you have to coach your peer mentors. You have to mentor the mentor. You have to help them remember why they're there, better understand their role, understand what boundaries are and how to establish those boundaries, how you may need to modify interactions and playing the role that you play with your mentee in order to be able to succeed and be successful. When facilitating structured peer mentoring activities, we always want to keep the group small. If possible, one-on-one activities are great, but sometimes we are in a group of 1 to 2 proteges and one mentor. No more than two is always a good number. We want to make sure there's a good variance of mixed abilities, interests, and skills within the group. We also want to promote space between the groups and making sure they understand, hey, if things are just a little too noisy here, if maybe this group member may not be able to calm down or anything like that. How do we reduce that distraction? How do we get away from additional stimuli in the background? So providing them with a nice space for them to work independently, they'll be able to problem solve, and they'll be able to actually coach other peers during the moment. Um, Taking advantage of teachable moments is always really great. As a teacher, you want to be able to identify moments where, or a coordinator, you want to be able to identify moments where you can say, hey, you did a great job. Providing that feedback is going to be amazing, especially when you can do it within the moment. Setting strong ground rules and organizing strategies for peer to peer problem solving. If peers have ground rules for how do we go ahead and solve this problem, or what should we do and what's expected of us, it's going to be a lot easier to solve conflict and for everybody to get their needs met. We want to break down tasks into multiple steps. We want to make sure that we can kind of chunk the information so that way not only the peer can keep up with what is the peer mentor can keep up with their peers, but also so everybody's able to learn from the activity. Everybody's able to learn from how we achieve this goal. It's not like we have to go out and just complete everything, all goals or all activities right there. No, we can take our time. Let's first start with just writing down the skills that we want to put on our resume. We don't have to rush and put all the jobs. We can take it in steps. Keep track of that timeline, making sure you're able to provide an agenda or provide some requirements of how we're going to get this project done, and what is it going to really entitle, what should we work on now versus what should we can actually work on a little bit later. But also let the mentors know and the proteges know, hey, at this point you guys should be seeing this type of change, or at this point these type of things are happening in your program or in your goal. Use photo instructions. It's always great to provide instructions that are visual. Visual instructions are really great, and visual examples are even better. That's why it's also good to do role play and scenarios for problem solving skills. Be careful not to reinforce inappropriate behaviors. Make sure that you work well to implement the rules and be firm about them. Be sure to not allow individuals who are difficult or difficult matches to monopolize the time of others. by providing them an opportunity to meet with you separately and coaching them, letting them know, hey, I understand what's going on, or I want to better understand what's going on, so that way you guys can be a great part of this group, or you can maintain a positive image within the student body. You also want to provide options for problem solving. Again, this is where those training opportunities come in, and when it's a really good opportunity to provide that coaching within the moment. Avoid putting that peer into the authority role. It's not their job to point the finger. It's not their job to say who's at fault or who is this. No, the peer is their friend. The peer is supposed to be a trusted ally. So let's not put them in a compromising role. And if anything that you can't solve, or you just may have a couple questions about, you can always reach out to your local your local CARD, or Center for Autism and Related Disabilities organization, for classroom support or even support with a peer mentoring match. So how do you encourage participation in social interaction? This is always a tough one, especially when working with peers as well as individuals on the autism spectrum. Some of the things we like to use are open-ended questions. I love the Ungame. It's a very inexpensive tool that teachers, educators, families, professionals can purchase, and they're just flashcards with questions on them. What we like to do is we like to take those questions and put them on a large beach ball. So maybe you select 20 of those questions, you write them out, and you can get a really good interactive game going when you're tossing that beach ball around, or maybe you're just playing you're playing basketball, and every time you shoot a hoop, someone's got to answer a question. Incorporate those questions, because it's a good way to get to know that peer as well as that mentor, and it's a good way to also for them to understand how are we alike in this way. Again, conversation starters are always helpful. um, Provide opportunities for expressive language videos. Hey, me and my peer, we love TikTok. And maybe, if one day, if we're working, we can do a TikTok, or to express a problem, or I really enjoy dancing, or I enjoy music, and they like to play guitar and I play piano. Maybe we can do a cover song. Is that okay? That's perfectly fine, as long as it remains appropriate and it remains within the lines of the goal of that peer mentor relationship. Providing them with opportunities to do different drawings or view illustrations of their goals, or support, and how that can be communicated, is always really great. Music is also another really good one. Um, Promote a strong sense of self belonging. Foster that interest and skill, and then highlight those skills and those accomplishments, not only of that peer, but of also the mentee. We know that relationships can contribute to the overall well-being of individuals with mental health disorders. We also know that social relationships can also reduce the likelihood of the implication of mental health disorders, or even disabilities moving forward. So that's that early intervention. That's providing the support now, so that way we can problem solve when we get there later. And hey, if we get there and we can do well, then that's what we're looking for. Social relationships also are positive influences of a sense of personal control. In my friendship group, everybody really loves it when when we go eat Thai food and Darius orders for everyone. Or in my friendship group, I'm probably the best one to provide technical support. That gives that person a sense of control, but also belonging. Hey, I have value here. I do really well. So let's talk about some tips for establishing strong mentoring relationships. First and foremost, we got to be trust. We got to build that trust. Peer mentors and friends and informal coaches, we got to avoid giving them the role of an authority figure. It's hard to build that trust when they're telling someone you're doing something wrong, or they're constantly encouraging, this is what you have to do. No, we want to encourage them to explore skills, explore their ability to do things and their interests, as long as it's positive and appropriate. We also want to be realistic, set reasonable goals, outline how you're going to achieve those goals and how you can grow together, and also encourage the understanding of how we're going to set other type of goals. Maybe it's not really the mentees or the peers goal for them to learn how to ride a bicycle today, or learn how to run a 5K. Maybe, what's more important to them is figuring out math problems, or even just figuring out how to talk to people on his track team or how to talk to people in his community. Allowing them to provide that buy-in, again, influences that self-advocacy and the self-esteem, but also it gives them a strong sense of personal control. Establish those expectations. It's really important that you establish expectations and boundaries up front. And you continue to remind them of what these expectations and boundaries are. And from time to time, even set those expectations with parents, making sure they understand what the role of the peer mentor is and how important it is for that relationship, because they develop some trust, because they've been able to bond and they're setting realistic goals that are helping that child or that mentee. Be authentic. Peer mentors are not superheroes. They don't have to be. They don't have to wear capes. They get to wear friendship hats, and those hats come with high fives and fist bumps. So we want to make sure that we allow our peer mentors to be authentic, and we promote them to be genuine, to be themselves, and encouraging them to not always want to solve the problem, but encouraging them to reach out to other people that can help them solve the problem. Teach the peer mentors how to listen with their eyes and ears. This is another area of that emotional intelligence, understanding when, hey, this person really may not be into the conversation we're having, or I don't think they really care about the topic of aliens versus dolphins. Whatever it may be, that peer mentor can be very helpful in coaching that protege or that mentee, but they have to be able to understand the cues of the social nuances that the individual is facing, or they may not be catching on to. So teaching them how to navigate social skills or identify social responses is always really great. It also helps to improve the skills of the ability of the mentee, the mentor, the peer mentor, and the protege to be able to have sound reciprocal communication. Be consistent. I think that one should go all the way to the top. For the peer mentors, they have to be consistent. For you as a facilitator or a program coordinator, you have to be consistent also. You have to continue providing all the support that you've stated you're going to provide, but also you have to hold yourself accountable for things. Make sure you establish those boundaries and make sure that you're doing whatever you can do to provide the best possible outcome for these individuals. If that means reaching out to an organization like FAU CARD or a CARD organization, or maybe even your local mentoring community, hey, that's perfectly fine. That also means that you're being consistent and you're supporting your group. This is the best rule, and that's fun. Having fun, incorporate fun activities. That helps to grab and maintain the attention of the group. Incorporate ways to be safe. Be creative and refrain from holding a complete focus on, you got to achieve this goal and we really need you to do this and this and this. Hey, let that mentoring match roll as organic as possible. When it's fun, it's not really considered mentoring. It's called bonding. So for some strategies for coaching your peer mentors and your mentees, one second, actually, we're going to take some time right now and I'm going to pause, and I have a special message from our partners. So thank you for participating in this webinar. To obtain a certificate of completion, you must complete the form within the link that you were sent for this email to get your certificate of completion. Please write down this code I'm going to announce right now, so that way you can receive your certificate of completion. All right. The code that you're going to need is DMJ202121. That's David Michael Jaguar 20212. Thank you. I'm going to pause and we're going to take some time for you to write that down. All right. So when we look at strategies, and now back to the whole topic of strategies for supporting and coaching those peer mentors. Again, it's really important that those peer mentors feel supported, they feel coached. If that peer mentor is not connected with you or your staff or your administration program team, then that peer mentor is not going to feel connected. they may not feel like their services or their support is valued. And we want to make sure they maintain that feeling of value. So encouraging the mentors to provide frequent positive feedback for not only their mentee, but also for the mentors, as you as a coordinator is always really good. So providing that positive feedback to their mentees, letting them know that they're, portraying the right actions. They have a great attitude. They're doing everything they can in the best way they can. Oh man, that's going to help that peer mentoring relationship develop. If Sam's doing really great with that soldering iron, and and that mentor highlights the skills that they're using, the patience that he had, as well as the teamwork that he exhibited, hey, that mentee or that protege is really going to be extremely happy about their success and their growth in that activity. Um, we want our peer mentors to model contextually relevant communication skills. So it's okay to use a little bit of slang every now and then, but we also want to be very appropriate when we're talking. So using appropriate verbs and language, calling things what they are, identifying things the right way, as well as even when it comes down to text messaging lingo, the body language that they use. A slouched over posture doesn't really show that you're engaged, but you're standing up tall, you're projecting your voice, and you're allowing more wind to enter your body, air to enter your lungs and fill your voice. And now you sound confident. Um, Encourage those peer mentors to interact with other peer members and allowing those peer mentors to support each other. Hey, how do we problem solve within a group? Maybe not even having to reach out to the teacher. How do we go about connecting with each other? Because you know what, that person's peer mentor is really good in this subject, and maybe they can be a good help for you, and I can be a good help for them and their peer. Additional strategies we like to look at are providing detailed agendas and outlining about what the mentoring activities are, setting those expectations, and being fair and consistent, fostering and encouraging the appropriate feedback and opinions and ideas that should be provided. Hey, it's not okay to laugh at your peer. It's not okay to bring up the past or an event that happened that, maybe didn't turn out the right way. It's not okay to say, oh, you just did a Darius. So we want to make sure that these peers are doing the right thing, encouraging the right behaviors, as well as the right type of language when working with their peers. I always say keep it simple and short. Be concrete, be clear, and be consistent. If you keep it that way, it'll be very easy for those peers and those peer mentors to bond and remain in contact and communicate. They'll want to communicate. They'll understand that there's a rhythm to their language and what they do. And most importantly, remain calm. Remain calm because there's always help. There's always an FAU card, or there's always a card organization that's there to help you and provide any assistance that you may need. So I thank you for participating in this presentation, and I look forward to any questions or any feedback that anybody may have. Please feel free to reach out to me at 561-213-6936 or DM URR823 at fau.edu. Thank you.